Hey, Tom.
All right, how about you?
Good. Working on next week. I'm going for the getting everybody on the team to see. Say what?
You got a
even
haircut.
cuter this week.
Got a haircut.
I got them trimmed. How can I get cuter, Pam? That's not possible. I love that.
All right. How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm fantastic. I don't know why everyone is whining about my new breakfast option.
Because it doesn't feel springy and light, and
What's the new breakfast option?
you're going to see.
I like the idea. You guys have to let us know about our breakfast option today.
We were doing a baked egg.
That was delicious.
Done. It was done. It ran its course. 2 months.
Tom got sick of it. So now, now we have a new item,
A good omelette.
and we'll get some feedback. Be honest.
I just don't know what to say about all this, which is odd for me.
Yeah, that is.
All right. Shall we get started?
Yeah.
Looks like we're missing a few folks, but it's their loss. We have to take a minute. My mother passed in August. We have to honor her legacy, which is right there. My mom's stove. Born in 1952 in Chicago, Illinois, and was in her kitchen for 70 years to raise 8 children, 14 grandchildren, and several parents. Every day, 3 meals a day on that sucker. What else do we need to say? Anything? You're going to have to take your oxygen out for the show if you can.
I will.
Chef Terry's on oxygen because his lungs are fighting him day in and day out.
I have what's called.
I thought about ripping him out, but then I thought maybe that's a worse option.
That's the one thing. You can only do that once. I have a pulmonary fibrosis. Working right now on trying to be on the
They
list.
said it has something to do with working with me on the radio show for 22 plus years, but
Your hot
Yeah.
air.
I don't believe it.
They say it was a surrounding pollutant maybe. So I was like, who could that be?
It's either me or your wife. One or
That's
the
right.
other. I'll take it. I got broad shoulders.
Sure. You're a bigger man, yes.
What else do we need to say? You told them about the restroom code?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're ready. Look at them.
I hear the chefs in the back making your breakfast. Thank God I was here to direct them this morning.
Yeah.
12:25.
Down the door, too.
You know what we say around here? Try not to pee on the seat. Something that we strive for every day. I have 6 sisters. I know about this.
Here you go.
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it started,
Let's
Chef.
do it.
Welcome to Hot Stove Society Radio on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. It's Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Roberto, chef in the hat.
We're coming to you from the beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. We have a lively audience that's going to have a delicious breakfast this morning. We're excited about moving on from our baked eggs that we've had with Mornay sauce, arugula,
to
today. It's a surprise. You'll see it. If you're watching us online on YouTube, you'll get a firsthand look at our new delicious breakfast
Smells good.
that Pamela, our producer, is upset with because she doesn't feel like it fits the hot stove category. which is odd because we do tons.
I can't
We do
wait.
tons of this. Like last time I cooked here, I did this meal.
You
so-
do everything here, so
I know we do everything.
I don't know why it would be a problem.
Hey, Pam is here today. She puts our show together. Sean is our technical director. He's in the house, and of course, the hot stove chefs and presenters in the back cooking up breakfast. She owns several restaurants, as you know.
I know, and I
and,
can't.
we should be open in a month. Well, we just had our 3rd-year anniversary of being closed. Isn't that the weirdest thing? You know, a lot of restaurants don't make it to their 3rd anniversary of being open. And yeah, it's the craziest thing. You know, when we closed 3 years ago, we had 20 businesses, and now we have 10. We're back to 10. So
Good for
it's
you.
nice to be working our way back. But we also have, operating businesses. And the one that I'm excited for you and I to go to is to check out at Mountain Barbecue down
Yes.
in the Pike Place Market.
I almost did the other day, except it was closed.
I know, right around here, Carlisle Room, Lola downstairs. We got a lot of action going on.
And a big
And
show.
there's a new surprise one, which I'm not going to talk about yet, but it's going to open in May. A
Ooh.
bit of a surprise. Existing location that we own, and I've been paying rent on for a long time with no business.
I
in
think
there.
I know what it is.
Yeah, well, it's a surprise. Keep it to yourself. You're listening to us on Cairo, of course. We've been here a very long time, which makes Chef Terry very old. We are enjoying our live audience who joined us here to taping the show.
Very handsome audience today.
If you want to come hang out with us on a Thursday morning, generally, hotstovesociety.com is the place you can find tickets. Or you can, of course, watch us on YouTube by turning to the Tom Douglas and Company channel.
Hello, YouTubers.
Hello, YouTubers. So, Pamela, we have a lot of diverse topics today. Some tasty tuna ideas. Now, can you just narrow that down? Are we talking canned tuna, fresh tuna, albacore, ahi?
I'm hoping you'll have ideas for both canned and ahi, fresh ahi. But there's a lot of beautiful ahi in the market right now, so
Okay,
maybe we focus on that.
we'll talk about that. When's the last time you went on a good date?
As many times as I can.
Yeah. Well, there's one
Life
in
is
front of
short.
you. You're welcome to go on a date with me today.
Oh,
We're going to try some Julie's California Superfruit organic medjool dates. Talk about why it's important to have these kind of dates compared to the old ones that, remember the ones you used to get in the supermarket that were like rocks and they had a hole drilled through the center where they took the pit out and blah, blah, blah.
And they were skin dry that would
Yeah.
peel off. Yeah.
You will actually like dates again when you try the medjool dates. Constructing zingy and vibrant green sauces is one of my favorite because it uses up everything out of the garden that you kind of got left over. There's a new restaurant in town called the Mint Progressive. It's where Heartwood Provisions used to be down on First Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
I have not been there yet. Have you?
Yes, I went to spy on it, knowing they were coming.
Uh-huh.
So we went Saturday night and pretty much ate through the menu. Spectacular.
Spectacular. Yeah, I don't think it's essentially what people think about when they think about Indian food. They don't
No.
think about a restaurant number one named Mint Progressive.
I know.
And then when I read through the menu on the website, it's like, wow, they got some stuff going on. A lot of tamarind gel.
A lot of
A
tamarind.
lot of tamarind
But
gel.
you're gonna love the lamb
Am I?
and the short rib.
Really?
hmm
You know, lamb is
And
my
the cocktails.
lamb
right?
is my taste of the week, so I'm
Oh,
curious about that. And a question from our listener Victoria.
In Victoria.
Oh, in Victoria, listener Roberto on ingredient substitutes. I'm anxious for that. I love listener questions. And if you ever want to get some on the air, what do they do if they want to send their question in?
Through YouTube, through email, whatever they want.
That's right, because on YouTube we can go live with questions. You
Yeah.
can come in the audience and ask
Yeah.
questions. Yeah.
We're accessible.
And of course, our show is our 2 hours is going to wrap up with food for thought, tasty trivia brought to you by Rub with Love, Spice Rubs and Sauces.
Who do we have today for contestants?
I think we're gonna get somebody from the audience.
We don't know yet.
Oh.
But we do know the person in the audience that does play gets their choice of 3 lovely spice rubs from our gift shop after the show. You know, the gift shop gets very crowded after the show, so I would suggest getting there early.
I would suggest you eye what you want now.
It might run out. Chef, what's your taste of the week?
Fresh halibut.
Oh,
I got my first halibut of the season delivered to my house by one of my fishmongers from the past.
delivered to your house?
Yes.
Wow, you're important.
No, I'm just, I'm a good person. You just don't hurt the fishmonger and he'll deliver. Anyway, a beautiful 35 pounder.
Delivered to your house?
Delivered to my
35
house.
pounds?
Yeah, and I processed it, and I made fish stock, and so the most important part I want to say is this halibut was obviously magnificent fish, fresh out of the water from Nia Bay, outside of Nia Bay over there, and cooked in olive oil, rosemary, thyme, and pureed roasted garlic. So I put all that in the olive oil and put the halibut in there and cook very slowly.
Like
and
olive oil poach? Is that
correct?
Yeah.
So it cooks in, 5 minutes at most. Pieces that are 1.5 inches thick, because you cook it for about 2.5 minutes. You bring the heat medium. You cook the fish for 2.5 minutes on one side. You flip it over. In 2.5 minutes later, it's ready. So, and the whole time I put a lid on top just to cover the whole thing, so
that helps.
the heat doesn't disappear. And also, so I don't want it to boil. Like, I'm not trying to fry it. I'm trying to just cook it slowly. But it cooks fast because the meat is beautiful, tender, so fresh. And a piece of halibut like this with just some steamed vegetables. Holy mackerel. No, halibut.
Halibut.
Holy halibut. That was so incredible and reminded me of, again, how privileged we are to live in this part of the world where we can get, such beautiful, pristine seafood. Like,
For free. Just call somebody and
it wasn't
comes
free.
to your house.
It was definitely not free, but
35 pounds.
yeah.
My taste of the week is, and it occurred, I was out trying to clean up this. I've lost 5 trees at the farm back in November at a storm, and I've been trying to clean them up with my chainsaw. And of course, my chainsaw is like this big. But anyway, I looked down and all my neighbors' baby lambs had been born. And so it made me think I had last year's crop in my freezer.
Right.
And so I'm looking at these little guys prancing around, and I'm thinking about the guy in my freezer. And so I put a lamb shoulder roast on my Barbie for about 6 hours. And it's leaner than a pork shoulder roast, right, which is what we make pulled pork from. But the lamb shoulder roast stuffed with garlic, just low and slow on the Barbie.
That's the secret.
Delicious.
Low and slow.
Low and slow.
Go low and slow.
I know where that meat comes from.
Yeah, and
sometimes we don't know, but that one, and I know where next year's meat's going to come from.
So, did you have a bean stew with that?
I had a vegetable stew with the Prosser Farm, last of the Prosser Farm peas, and all sorts of deliciousness. We have to keep going here. So many reasons to have a stash of dates in the pantry, and we're going to talk about one called medjool dates on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. I ate that tortilla and I'm like...
Sticky?
No, I just have a mouthful of saliva because that's what happens when you eat.
So, should I talk about the medjool I brought back from Morocco?
Yeah.
Because this looks like...
Hey, save it for the radio.
You guys go on a date?
It's time. Pretty good, though.
I'll give anyone in this audience
better than most
a jar of my product if you can tell me my favorite date dessert. Anyone but those two in this audience. Anybody? My favorite date dessert. Oh, first time out. Wow, that was impressive. Sticky toffee pudding. People don't realize that it's dates that kind of make it sticky and sweet.
Would you please save that for the segment? Man.
That would have been good radio right there.
We couldn't have heard his answer. He's not on a microphone.
That's okay. We could have.
I'll yell it
Yeah.
Really? Well, somebody that lives.
Emily, you're a smarty.
No, these are not from
You're
Morocco.
going to find out. These are California dates.
Great label.
That's what. Saving it for the radio.
Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show. We're all on a date today. We're on a date here with each other. We're happy to be dating. And sometimes when you haven't had a date for a while, you really look forward to the next date.
That's right.
Um, you long for it. You long
Oh,
for it.
good
I always
one.
look forward to it.
Yeah,
Nice
long for it.
lead in.
All right, let's talk dates. Pam, what did you bring us here? Because they're awfully tasty.
I hate to admit it, but I am sucked in by really adorable packaging.
Oh, really?
So-
There's a shocker.
Shocker. So I walked into PCC this week and there was this vibrant aqua box of Julie's. And what an adorable name that is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it is a fabulous take on shortening the variety of date that is in this package. It's a medjool date from the Coachella Valley in California. And it has had the pit removed and they're absolutely delicious.
They are delicious.
And they've got a wonderful website that's completely inspirational. But as you know, what I love about it even more than the cute packaging is all the nutritional benefits of eating a beautiful date, because they're packed with vitamins and minerals. And so you could just pretend it's your multivitamin that you're taking every day. And they're high in antioxidants and they're a great source of fiber. So
They're
Not to
also
mention
very-
sugar.
They're also
there
very
is
high on potassium.
and potassium as part of the
If your doctor says your bone need to have some structure, just eat some dates.
So if you hate bananas, you can
The-
eat dates.
The only problem with and the only problem with dates is they're about 60 calories per date.
yeah.
So don't eat 5 pounds of it.
Yeah, it is. The sugars are concentrated in it, but they're natural sugars, and
Right.
so I'm just a big fan, and I want
Oh.
you guys to tell me how I can eat them besides with peanut butter.
Well, I must say that I went to Morocco last September, October, and brought back 8 pounds of fresh picked medjool from the area right next to the desert there.
How did you get those through customs?
Well, I don't know, because when I came to Seattle, should I say this on the air?
No.
Yeah.
Et voilà.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it at that. So what's
You-
your?
You brought them back.
No, I brought them back, and
and
it
you-
was very legal.
Uh-huh.
But I brought them back, and they're just so. When you get a good date, it's just like real life. When you get a good date, you do remember. I mean, just like when you get a bad one, you remember too. I mean, it's just very simple.
Mhm.
I mean, the difference is just day and night.
Okay. So most people can't get them direct from Morocco. So what made the Moroccan dates even better than the ones we have in front of us?
The tenderness of it, the freshness of it, you can tell the difference. There is no dry to it. It's all supple and tender and sweet. Not quite as sweet maybe as this. It's just the mouthfeel is incredible, and it's a very special thing. And the one that I had was just picked like 3 weeks before.
Mhm.
And
So
they're-
when they dry like this, like the ones you see in our supermarket,
right,
they they concentrate more and they get a little crusty on the outside,
correct. Yeah, the
which it
skin-
doesn't hurt anything.
No, it doesn't hurt anything. It's just a different style. But I really love that tenderness and that freshness of the fruit. It was just incredible.
Now, when I grew up, we grew up with these kind of boxed dates that you get in the center aisle of the grocery, kind of like you get box or canned sardines, but there's a box of dates, and there are these dried little pellets
Nasty.
that are nasty. When I first discovered medjool dates, maybe 25, 30 years ago, it was a revelation.
Absolutely.
And we started doing everything with them, including we would take these dates. Of course, we weren't as fancy as you. Ours had to have the pits taken out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'd take the big pits out. They're a bigger style date. And we'd stuff it with spicy chorizo and then
that is
oven
brilliant.
roast them, because you get that hot against the sweet date.
It goes
And-
well with blue cheese. Like you can stuff them with blue cheese and bake them quickly, and the cheese starts melting, and you just eat that date.
Mhm.
It's a very, very good thing.
There's lots you can do. There's pancetta or bacon, Italian bacon, or the smoky American style bacon.
The way
Wrap the date with that and oven roast them and let it get crisp. Let the bacon
Correct.
actually cook, because people get worried. They get concerned that the date is burning or whatever.
and
But if with kind of medium rare bacon, that's not good.
I tell you, the way they serve it, I've had it in Morocco a few times. Serve with, they just slightly open it, take the pit out, and replace it by a toasted walnut.
Walnut.
That's really with just a little bit.
So then
of-
how is it served? Is that as an
just as is,
appetizer?
as a on a
A
platter,
little snack?
as a little snack, yeah,
Okay.
like you would have that and some cookies and
Minty.
minty and orange segments and things like that.
Hmm.
That sounds so lovely.
That does sound like a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really it's very, I don't know, it's very light. It doesn't feel like, it's not imposing like a sandwich or whatever. It's much lighter of a fare, and
Hmm.
it just stacks you up nicely for the next meal.
But
Now-
what about the sticky toffee pudding?
Yeah, of course. It's my favorite date dessert. Somebody here in the audience, what is your name? He ruined my day by
Ben.
guessing my favorite date dessert, which is sticky toffee pudding. And at my, I belong to a golf club north of Glasgow in Scotland, and they make, in my experience, the best sticky toffee pudding. And I've actually had it where they invented it in London. It's called, I want to say it's called the Ring Restaurant or something like that. It's an old 1650, I think, is when the restaurant was born or something.
So do they
Crazy.
use figs or dates?
They use dates.
Okay.
And they make it very popular dessert now, sticky toffee pudding. And you can serve it with, fresh whip is probably
Sure.
the ideal because sticky toffee pudding is very heavy.
Correct.
Typically has a caramel sauce on top or a date butter sauce on top. And then I like it with a shot of whiskey poured over top. Scotch
Sure,
whiskey.
you need that.
Yes.
Oh,
need that.
You can light it on fire. It comes out so beautiful.
A good counterpoint is having the sharpness of the alcohol.
But you really, if you want to gild the lily, you get a Isla whiskey, Islay, Isla whiskey, which is very smoky. It's done on peat, and it's
So is it pithy too?
it's very smoky. And you put that over the sweet sticky toffee pudding. Oh my God, it is delicious. So
Yeah, I would put it all over and just light it up, and just
I know
wait.
people get freaked out about that peaty taste, but it's an acquired taste. Once you get
Oh, it's very acquired. Yes.
yeah, once you get used to eating a Goodyear tire, a burning tire, that's what peaty
Exactly.
Then
That's
you're
what it
there.
reminds me.
Oh,
You're ready. For
so
that,
delicious.
Scott.
I
That's
mean,
what it reminds me of.
people love going to the Indianapolis 500 and smelling those burning tires.
Uh-huh.
That's what it's like drinking an Isla Scotch.
That's one thing I haven't done and I will do before the end of my lifetime, hopefully.
Indianapolis 500?
Yes, I'd like to
Really?
see it once.
Really?
It's American.
Yeah.
You gotta see it.
There you go. I don't have to see it.
No, just once.
What is the equivalent in France?
Les 24 heures du Mans,
Ah,
24 hours of Le Mans.
yeah.
That's a enduring race.
Yes, it is. Dates. Back to dates.
In salads as well, green apple, dates, and a little harissa dressing.
Uh-huh.
So little
Oh,
heat
harissa would be
and
ideal.
argan oil. Just a little Dijon mustard. Mix the whole three together, and make a little dressing and put that all over that with some endive, little arugula, some spice, greens. Greens with a little puckiness, and some frisée. And just put all that together.
That sounds good, but I think the important part of what you said there was you're balancing out the sweetness of the dates
Right.
with some vinaigrette or
Correct.
the bitter greens,
Right.
right? Or the sharp Granny Smith apples, or because dates are so intense, they have to be kind of balanced out.
They're definitely very sweet. So you need to balance it up, especially if you're making a salad. I mean, think of dried raisins or stuff like that. That's always needs to be balanced out with something acidic or something that counter it.
All right, Pamela is coming up. The new salmon season is coming up. And I know I eat salmon every Sunday for most of the year, but you've been dry now for a couple of months. And so now you're into tuna, which we had when we were in Hawaii.
I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan. And so let's go to have a little bit of tuna before the year is out. And we head back into salmon season right here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show. 97.3 FM.
Yo, Sean is in the house.
Hey, I didn't even recognize you.
How you doing, Sean?
What are you doing here?
Where's your hat?
Oh, it's in the back.
Ah.
I had a dentist appointment stop by on the way to work.
Wow.
This is the magician that
How you
makes
doing,
our
man?
show ready at Cairo.
How's it going?
Go around and we send raw tape, and then he makes
Oh,
it
nice to see
for
you.
the
I saw you walk in. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's the first time in 5 years that he's visited us. 5 years. Every week we do work together, and we never see him.
Yeah, I know it's via email
This is the reason we look good on radio, right here.
And if you listen to his voice, you'll recognize him as kind of the MC of Cairo. He does all the voice.
Yeah, I do commercial production for Cairo, so that's why I used to record the show, but now I can't, so I edit the show. It's really nice to be part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
And
having
and
you.
he's probably saying this
Wow.
every week. He's probably saying those damn rookies
Yeah.
after 22 years.
It's gotten pretty good.
Yeah, we're okay now.
All right.
We're kind of okay. Okay, good. I just
I have to tell you, Tom did well. We did a contest a couple weeks ago, and we got really nice entries,
Yeah.
and half of them mentioned your music.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You are having such a nice impact with it.
I'm glad. It's so fun. I mean,
Yeah.
YouTube has like anything we need. It's like,
Yeah.
Thank you. And you guys like it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very cool.
As
Yeah.
long as it's food related, we love it.
Yeah. It's,
For years, we had the old Jackie Gleason. What was it? The Jackie Gleason.
I don't know.
Yeah, you would.
Alice,
no.
the kisser.
Sean has taken us into a much more modern, peppy.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a song about
Yeah.
No, there is one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
found a song on YouTube that was about a hospital.
He,
I didn't hear it
he
yet.
matches.
No, I didn't hear it either.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I didn't hear that one though.
No,
Of course, I didn't listen to the last week's show.
thank you.
Well, stay
It's
as
so
long as
nice
you
to
like.
see you. I got
Sure.
pulmonary fibrosis. Yeah, my lungs are getting attacked by my system. So scarring, and eventually I'm gonna have to replace the airbag. Yeah, I'm doing. I mean, there's no pain. It's a pain in the lung. Not say anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's all. It's not painful. I mean, I'm not bleeding or hurting. I'm just running out of oxygen.
Hey,
that's
Chef
all.
Bridget, is this the Krusty's
Well,
blueberry
I'm not
pancake
not the
mix?
detail for this life.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing all right.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you for coming, Sean. What a pleasure.
Yeah.
That's such a nice surprise.
That's right, Pam. The answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know to call him anytime. We're messing up.
No, we haven't set a time yet. We
Okay,
need
so it's
to.
still in it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
that would
yeah.
be great to get together.
Ooh,
You know,
this is so
typically our
nice.
producer would put together a Christmas cocktail for us, but this one kind of fell down
I'll
on the
get
job.
on it.
No, yeah, I think she brings such a great addition to the show. I really like her, and you have a really great voice, and you're really smart about what you're talking about, just like these guys. But you're
Woo!
a good anchor for
So you have a fan.
a fan.
What?
You got it. I'll spread the word.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, good to see you.
Bye. Oh, that made my day.
There you go.
Do you like the muffin?
Yeah. It's so light.
It's
Think there's
super-
enough fat in that muffin? Tell just by how tender it is.
So now they're getting a coursed breakfast.
Well, that was not the intention.
Oh, they get the appetizer, muffin, and then.
I think they're just running behind on the rest of the breakfast. All right, we're back. It's the Hot Stove Society show. People are busy eating their first course of their multi-course breakfast this morning, or second. We've already started with a date. Now we're heading into blueberry muffins. Bye, Sean. Don't
Bye,
call me
Sean.
Dottore.
Thank you.
What a treat.
We had
What
a
a
little
treat.
visit from our editor, which is a rare event around here.
Nice.
I haven't seen Sean in years. It's funny that we do business with him every week.
I
You
know.
know, he edits our show every week, and yet we never see him. So
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the world we live in.
whatever. Tuna. So Pam, where did you see all this tuna that you want us to talk
Well,
about?
you know, I go to Fresh Fish every Sunday.
Yeah, I know you do. So is that where you saw the tuna?
Yep, and you got me hooked on tuna pooty.
Tuna puttanesca? Way
Tuna-
back from the Cafe
tuna
Sport
pooty.
days?
I
Do
still,
tell.
I still make it all the
That
time
is so funny.
because I always have the essential ingredients: capers, anchovies, olives,
Parsley.
lots of parsley, lemon, seared tuna over pasta.
Over
It's
pasta.
so fast and it satisfies
Do you
so
s-
many flavor
Do you
cravings.
serve it as a whole piece or break it down?
I break
Sliced.
it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you break it down.
Yeah.
Do you recall how I used to serve it at Cafe Sport?
No.
You don't recall?
That's why we're talking about it
Ah.
today.
Well, you had a lot of it correct.
Okay. What did I miss?
The pasta.
Oh, yeah.
You remember? Is it jogging any memories? You remember what
Mm.
color the pasta was?
Whole wheat penne.
Oh my God, you're so
Green.
gross.
Green.
Who would serve whole wheat penne with tuna puttanesca?
Somebody who's very healthy, conscientious.
Oh my God. You ran a hippie restaurant. I know that.
Yeah.
No, red chili pasta. Remember, I used to make the pasta and it was
No.
all red and it was made with like a smoked paprika and things like that turned the pasta red.
Wow.
And that was the pasta base for the puttanesca, which is a mix, like you said, of it can be dried herbs, fresh herbs, olive oil, tons of garlic, chilies, anchovies, as you said, capers. I like some olives in there.
Yeah.
And then I just made that pasta with olive oil and preserved lemons and did the whole thing together.
Uh-huh.
And then put the sliced rare ahi on top.
Beautiful.
It was just, I don't know. It's such a funny thing that dish became popular. And I think it had to do mainly with the noodles. Because
What
puttanesca
was-
at the time wasn't anything new.
What was the pasta again?
Just fresh pasta that we made every day.
What
but
kind? What type?
we put chili powder in, just of all-purpose flour. I love all-purpose. I'm not a big semolina pasta person.
Was it a spaghetti or
Like a
linguine or-
fettuccine.
Fettuccine.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and the noodles came out red, and they were delicious. And it's a simple thing. You just
Yeah.
add chili
No, of
powder
course.
to your fresh pasta dough. So that's one way to do with ahi tuna.
Let's go
I'm
on.
a big salad niçoise, classic
Yes.
French salad. I mean, we have that all the time in my house. We use canned tuna, however, albacore tuna from not IE but albacore from St. Jude.
That's a nice product.
It's a beautiful product. It's very local, obviously, and it supports local families. So it's where it's at. But you can use fresh tuna in any niçoise salad, which would make it even better than by the can, because we eat by the can. But if you have fresh, it's even better. But boiled potato, haricot vert, or string beans. String beans is important. You don't want those tree trunk beans. You want nice thin string bean blanched. Olives, very important. And then the rest is up to you. Chopped shallots is what I add to. I put a little caper in there, which is not normally there, and hard boiled egg.
Yeah,
So
I
let-
usually do an egg.
And lots of lettuce. I mean, lots of lettuce, usually from the garden or local, whatever. And put the bed of lettuce on the ground of the plate, big plate, with a lemon olive oil dressing. So lemon olive oil is lemon juice, mustard, and olive oil whisked together really well, and you have a bind dressing of lemon. So a salt and pepper, and that's it. So you mix that together, and you mix that with the tuna, and you drizzle a little bit on the rest of the ingredients, and then you have a wonderful fresh salad. And
Do you
it's
ever put a green base on your niçoise, or is it always right on the plate?
on the plate.
Okay. But
And
sometimes I put a little butter lettuce or something down first.
oh no, but that's what I do. Is I use
Oh.
lettuce. That's what I said. Lettuce on the
Oh, I
bottom.
missed the lettuce. Yeah.
Lettuce on the bottom. So it could be you could go from Boston to, which is not very flavorful, but we get some nice red leaf that we grow in the backyard, and it's easy to grow, and it makes for a great lettuce. But what I was going to say is this is as good for dinner, especially as the weather warms up. Not today, but in the coming weeks. As soon as the weather warms up, eating a beautiful salad like this for dinner is filling. And don't forget, grilled bread is very important with this.
With everything.
a good
Grilled bread.
country grilled bread. So you could choose to take your bread and cut it in small cubes and put it into your salad, or just use it on the side. It also makes a great, if you take half an avocado well ripe and you put it on top of your grilled bread and put your niçoise on top of that, that makes for a beautiful open face sandwich. I think
So let's talk about cooking it for a second. A lot of people get ahi, and the tragedy is when it gets overcooked,
Right.
unless it's intentional.
correct.
So intentional would be where you maybe olive oil poach it to so it's cooked all the way through, but still moist.
Right.
And then you can use it instead of canned tuna on your niçoise or whatever.
Correct.
But if you were to sear a piece of tuna, there's a couple of ways I can think of. One is I sometimes do it on my charcoal grill. And we talk about the difference between direct and indirect cooking. This is a time you want your most intense fire as close to the surface of your grill grate as
Correct.
possible. Like on my Weber, I can bring my fire up to within 3 inches or so, or
Yeah.
I can build it in the bottom where it's typical.
And don't touch the fish for at least a minute. Then
Well,
it's on
let's
the
go
fire.
back before you go to that. So now you've got this intense heat.
Yeah.
What are we going to crust our fish with?
I'm just going to use a little bit of avocado oil and rub it gently on the fish. That's all I'm going to do.
Nothing. No spice. No nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Because I want to keep
Pepper,
this.
cracked pepper.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
we're
I'm
going to
gonna-
agree to disagree here. This,
I'm gonna do on
no,
my
I agree with you, but
on my table. There will always be a pepper grinder and some finishing salt for whatever taste you want. When I'm making this kind of fish for a salad like this, especially with the olives, the capers, and all that stuff, I wait for the people to choose their saltiness, only because I just don't want it to be too salty for a salad. So
Oh.
I just leave it on the table, and that's what we do.
I don't know. I went to your restaurants for many years when there were no salt or pepper shakers on the table because the chef knew best.
That's right.
Oh,
At that time, I knew better.
Oh, okay.
Now I know.
So let's go
but
back.
now I'm older, so I know even better.
Let's go back to the tuna. We've got a piece of raw tuna. I'm going to crust it with something. I like my Tokyo rub on it because we're not going to cook it very long, right? All we're putting is a sear on the outside.
Right.
So I've got my most intense heat. I've got my chunk of tuna, a little bit of avocado oil.
Yep.
I'm going to put a little spice rub on it. Pam's going to put salt and black pepper on it. Then we're going to put it on the super hot fire for what? If it's let's just say it's an inch thick.
I would say
We're going to say 30 seconds,
yeah,
right?
30 seconds, yeah. But do not touch the fish. Once you put it on the grill, be patient. Don't mess around with it, because if you do, it will stick like nobody's business. So let it
And you lose
sear.
all that, the good part of the sear, right?
Oh, yeah, you lose that,
It sticks,
but
and that
first-
sticking part is what you want to put on the fish.
Right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
the flavor, and that's what you're looking for.
So then you flip it over.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing to the other side.
Exactly.
And literally, it's raw in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but people think it should still be hot somehow. Just like on a steak, they order a
Right.
rare steak and they want their steak to be hot. No, it's 110 degrees. It's
If
like
you-
it's 10 degrees more than your body
If you
temperature.
ask for rare, even medium rare, in a restaurant, do not expect the center of your steak to be hot. That is a mistake that people make.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you cannot get both of that word. You know, it's like if you want it rare, you cannot get it hot in the middle. It won't.
Right. That's the opposite of what rare is.
Exactly.
If you want it well hot, then order it well done.
Medium.
Or even medium is warms in the center.
Medium
but yeah.
will be
Um,
warm.
So we're back to it. Now, with this, to me, you don't have to let the tuna rest when it comes off the
No.
grill.
No.
You can pretty much go right away.
There is no resting needed. No.
Okay, so now we got a chunk of tuna. What are we going to do?
You're gonna slice it
But
thin.
are we going to slice across a grain? Are we going to look for a grain?
Absolutely.
What do you tell me?
Look at the lines on the piece of fish and go straight across that,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make sure that because a tuna definitely doesn't have much fat, but it definitely has a lot of sinewy and
Mhm.
muscles and all that stuff. So you want to make sure you cut through that. So you cut against it, and then you slice. To me, I always say, if you're not sure, slice thin. Thin will always give you more tenderness than thick. The thicker you cut, the more tenderness you're expecting, and the more of a meat that needs to be like a beef tenderloin, for example, would be tender. So the thickness is not very important because the meat has no resistance. But in most meats, especially roast or grilled like this, you want to slice as thin as possible. The thinner, the better, because it
And
will
it's
be
so
tender.
pretty. You get a little ribbon of
Yeah, yeah.
tuna with
The
the,
red
crust
center.
and the red center.
Yeah.
So it just looks real nice
Yeah.
if you get it.
And
thin.
remember, when you're picking your tuna, you want a really nice fresh. You're going to eat it raw, essentially, right? So you want to make sure it's really fresh. So talk to your fishmonger.
Make sure it's
Talk to
red.
Harry down at Mutual Fish, and he'll pick out a good piece for you.
Yeah.
Or Kevin, his son, is often there too. They'll pick
Sure.
out a good piece for you that is meant to be served raw.
Yeah.
Right. So just something, a heads up. So much to talk about with tuna, though.
Ooh,
Yeah. I had a steak last night for a steak frite, and they cut it. It was a hanger steak, and they cut it with the grain. So I had the stringy.
Oh,
So easy to cut that
no.
correctly, but somebody didn't realize, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, same with tuna. All right, if we're making tuna, let's make a little green sauce to go with it, huh? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Woo, that looks so good.
How'd they do today? Is it weird?
Weird.
Weird. Hey,
Annie, come up here and tell us what you made, please. Or Bridget, one of the two of you.
Bridget can do it.
Bridget, please come up and tell the folks what they have on there.
one of my favorite. Torta.
Okay, how good does that look?
I love that. Love that.
Look at those greens.
Love that.
What's important about those greens is that all the stems are in there
To the
too.
mic.
We end up throwing those
Oui,
away
chef.
way too often. Okay,
You know
chef.
better.
Okay. Am I doing this for
Yes.
Facebook? Hi, Facebook.
Yes, right there is
No, YouTube viewers.
YouTube.
YouTube viewers. Sorry about
Let's
that.
not get confused here.
I know. I'm sorry. So
See that, Sean?
the little chubs there are a cured Spanish chorizo that was made into little mini bites, traditional for tapas. And then ruby chard is local. That got minced, cut into a brunoise, the stems
The
did.
stems.
And then the
Cooked
leaves.
separately, right?
Correct. I sauteed them separately, added water, about a tablespoon of water to the stems, and covered them and cooked them for about 15 minutes. And then I just quickly sauteed the greens and piled those on top of the stems and let them collapse. You're eating a Spanish tortilla, español. Yeah, and that is a traditional frittata. Eggs, pimenton, onions, garlic, and the Yukon potatoes.
Yeah.
A little salt and pepper.
So it's like your hash browns and eggs all in one. And then what is this? Did you put this on the greens?
Why, yes, that happens to be
Why,
Tom's
yes.
This is my favorite
taco
greens rub.
spice.
Yeah,
It's good. I like the veggie rub. Pam's
I
got
like
me
it
hooked
too.
on
But
the-
for greens, this is real citrusy and it's got a little kick. I think this is.
the taco spice is great. Spencer puts that on his scrambled eggs in the morning
Yeah,
now.
Oh,
Perfect.
good call.
Yeah.
We should call it Swiss chard rub. It'd be hilarious.
I bet it would sell.
You know
really
what?
Good.
You would sell the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, chef.
Thank you, Bridget.
Excellent. Now, I absolutely have to ask, what was your beef with this?
It didn't feel springy.
Oh, well, you're
Seems-
not in
it
spring.
seems
Number
kind of-
one, you might be in spring on the calendar, but in Seattle, this is spring. The beet green, this is exactly what I had yesterday. Beet green from my garden and kale that are left over for the winter. That's what I have left. There is nothing that's, that's springy, what we call spring.
Yeah.
Spring in Seattle doesn't come before
She likes to
mid-
celebrate a California spring.
Yeah, it doesn't come before mid-June.
Well,
How
the,
good are those sausages, huh?
Yeah, no, this is delicious.
Really
the
good.
audience looks very happy, so I think I might admit that I was wrong. Do you want me to date
That's
that?
never happened before.
It just might be wrong.
I think this is a very delicious breakfast. And those greens are beautiful.
Are they?
Yeah. Well, you're not eating?
And
She refused to eat breakfast this morning because it was Spanish.
Oh my God.
No, I don't like to eat during the show. You guys make me nervous, so I can't eat.
She's afraid to get charred in her teeth.
Yeah, me too, but the hell with it.
Wow, they look very happy.
Chef's
out there.
delicious.
Happy. Oh yeah. Yeah, thank you.
You don't get the torta, you just get the vegetables.
All right, we're back. We're having breakfast here at the Hot Stove Society show. I got to say, the chef team outdid themselves today. Everything is perfect on our plate.
Yes.
Let's talk about green sauce. It's a little early in the season for a classic salsa verde.
Right?
It seems to me. I was just at our farm, and we're getting some chive sprouts. We're getting a little bit of this and that, but not much of anything quite
Yeah.
yet.
The chive is the hope of the light of hope.
Right.
Because there's plenty of chives in my backyard right now, but that's the only one I have.
But let's just say you like them at market. There's none in my neighborhood, so I end up at the Ballard Market or Shoreline Central.
And PCC.
Pamela goes to PCC. If you're going into the herb area, what are you picking out for a salsa verde?
Arugula. I'm gonna go with
Oh,
arugula.
you're going as a base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
that's nice.
when I make a salsa verde, I want to make sure that I always want some punginess out of the
Okay.
salsa verde because I'm trying to pick up some flavor.
So is arugula then 50% of your salsa verde?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
least.
75%?
yeah.
Okay.
75.
So
The rest is just added herb. Then I'm gonna
like what?
I'm gonna put fresh thyme. Then I'm gonna pick because that's a very strong herb that gives a lot of flavor.
No stem, right? Because we're not
No
cooking
stem.
this.
No, we're
Yeah.
not cooking. We're just doing the blossom.
Yeah.
You know, especially now they're
The
starting
leaves.
to bud and blossom. So you take all the top parts of the thyme in your garden and put that into it. You get arugula, olive oil. I like to throw a little. Don't forget the olive oil because otherwise you won't be able to blend. Olive oil, and then I like to throw in some olives in my salsa
Uh-huh.
just because I love the flavor of olives.
They have to be green olives because it's salsa verde. chef.
Correct. Green
Okay.
olives. I didn't say anything. I didn't say black. I said green. Green olives and lemon juice, obviously, because I like that flavor to come back up. Salt, pepper. Keep it as simple as possible. Now, if I have, sometime I buy basil for whatever reason. If I have leftover basil, I will throw that in there just for extra flavor. And
It
then
will
la-
darken your verde though. Just
a little
FYI.
dark, yeah. And then the little touch that I love to do, and then I learned in Morocco, is fresh cumin. Ground cumin, just a little bit of cumin in there,
Mhm.
and it somehow zing up the whole thing up in flavor, and I'm good with that.
So-
And that can go in the fridge, and it can go for definitely at least a week or two in your refrigerator, and then use that for, steamed halibut or whatever you're going to do these days. That's coming in season. Even the black cod is in season too, coming through. And you do a steamed piece of fish or lightly cooked or baked. If you bake a piece of fish and you put that on top of it before it goes in the oven, you end up with all that beautiful thing baking on the fish as well. So you get all that extra flavor.
So for me, the only thing I would change there is I would add more soft herbs.
Sure.
And soft herbs are the key here because
Right.
generally we're not cooking it. You just baked it, which is fine. But
Right.
soft herbs being tarragon leaves,
Chives.
mint leaves, chives, parsley,
Sure.
cilantro, anything that will blend up. Like rosemary doesn't blend up, right?
No.
Sage is a little too tough for
Plus,
this.
you don't really want to eat sage or rosemary raw.
Uh,
It's not very good flavor. The only reason I said thyme is because the blossom of the thyme are tender, and then you chop them fine and you put them in your dressing. Once you blend them, it's fine. But otherwise, I wouldn't use dry. I'm just like you. I wouldn't use those herbs that can dry.
mhm.
I wouldn't use that.
Now, let's just say you have no option. You're in the middle of Alaska. It's not spring at all yet. You have no options. If you want to make something of that flavor profile, you got to go to your herb cabinet, your
Right.
dried herb cabinet.
Right.
Now you can use a little bit of rosemary, this or that, but then you're using your spice blender,
Correct.
right? You even a mortar and pestle won't get you to where you want to be.
Not with
I keep
rosemary.
a spice blender just like a coffee bean grinder, and then I will powder it or at least take it down quite a bit. Now you can make your own salsa verde just by adding olive oil to it,
Right.
and it's a dried version. And one of the things we didn't talk about when we talked about puttanesca earlier was I always put dried oregano in my puttanesca instead of fresh because to me it has a little bit different flavor and
Right.
bite to
Right.
it. It got a little bit of a bitter bite, and so you can use your salsa verde like that. It's
Right.
perfectly good mixed into a butter, olive oil
And-
over a nice grilled hanger steak or skirt steak or rib steak or whatever. But
And
just because
to-
you don't have the fresh herbs doesn't mean you can't make a green pungent sauce to go on
Correct.
something.
And to round it up, like you said earlier, mint is always a good thing to have. It's usually something that's good all year round to find it either buying in a store or in a pot at the back door of the kitchen. It's always there. So there is an herb that is pretty much all year round that is green
Mhm.
and that is extremely pungent. So when you blend that into a sauce, olive oil and whatever arugula I was using earlier, that definitely helps bring it to another dimension. and it's a freshness that you don't acquire from many herbs. So
right.
it's really
Later
good.
in the spring and summer, when it gets hot and the herbs start to bolt,
Right.
there's a couple of herbs that go really good with salsa verde that you could use in two different ways. So, for example, you're using an arugula base.
Right.
As it gets hotter, the arugula gets
Oh yeah,
hotter,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But it also bolts, and you get those beautiful nutty arugula
Boy,
flowers.
does it bolt and show up everywhere
Yeah.
on my lawn.
But the flowers, don't just mow it down.
No.
Eat the flowers.
Yeah.
They're really nutty and delicious. They taste very
Yeah.
different than the leaves.
And one thing I've been using, I've been shaking every year. I have bronze fennel that grows up to about 8 feet tall.
Which should be right out there right now. It's
And-
starting.
Well, I cut them every year at the end of summer, and I put them under the porch and let dry them out. And then I shake them really good now, this time of year, and everything comes out, the seeds, whatever the birds haven't got, because the birds come and they found my stash.
Uh-huh.
The other day I was watching, there was like 8 birds under my porch. I'm like, what are they doing here? They were
Eating
eating
the
the
fennel.
seeds from my fennel. I was like, wait a minute, I need to get to that first.
They want the sweet breath that you get from.
Well,
the
yeah, I mean,
fennel.
this time of year, they're running out of food. So, they're eating everything they can find in sight, and they found
Mhm.
my stash. I'm like, but shaking that thing and taking fresh fennel seeds to add to your salsa is
Mhm.
also another dimension that brings it.
But you have to
little-
grind them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
grind them first. They got to be in a powder. And then they're very tender and they're very fresh.
Now, one of my favorite ingredients is fennel pollen.
Mm.
Have you ever shaken that? I have never done it personally. Shaken the pollen off of
I
the
get
flowers.
some every year
Oh.
because I have this big bush of bronze fennel. I love bronze fennel, and it's even sweeter than green fennel. And I have this big bush in my backyard that grows super tall, much taller than me. And in the summertime, that's one of the things I do is I go and pick up a few heads of those fennels and then drain the pollen
Mhm.
and then keep it in.
I got to try that sometime. I just think it's an amazing ingredient. It's so true.
Beautiful.
to
So
what
beautiful.
It's so true to what you think of fennel being,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's got that gorgeous anise flavor,
Yeah.
and it's lingering, and it's sweet, and it's got many different sides to it. And again, sprinkle on a little salad at the end of just before serving. Oh,
Pamela, I would think you're
I'm
such
a-
a roast pork nut. I would think you would love a salsa verde
Yeah.
on roast, pork. Yeah.
Absolutely. I always like starting with parsley and cilantro, though.
Mm.
A lot of olive oil, garlic, preserved lemon.
Right.
It's kind of my ideal green sauce.
Don't be afraid to use the stems, especially when you're pureeing
Yeah.
like that,
Oh, yeah.
especially cilantro. I mean, if you look at any other culture, they use the whole sprig of cilantro.
cilantro stems are they're so tender, they
Mhm.
melt.
Yeah.
They're even more tender than some chives.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
je te dis.
yeah.
Oh, incroyable.
Then chive? Then chive?
Then chives.
Oh my God. Okay, this is going to be a hard one for me. Abid Shakar is here today, along with Goldie Singh, and they are going to talk about the new restaurant in downtown Seattle called the Mint Progressive on Cairo Radio. That's what's going to happen when we come back. 97.3 FM.
Here they are, right on time, right on cue. Come over here. You literally announce.
Yeah. Oh, no. No. So I want Pam to talk about her experience.
Chairs, better for the mic.
How you doing? Good morning.
I should have asked the names pronunciations before I did my promo. I apologize.
All right. Sean,
Bridget, did you taste those chorizos? Those are really
You
good.
got a nice kick. Beautiful.
I have a good little taste to them. How you doing?
Good. Did you make those?
No.
Okay. No, they're really good. Good morning.
Andy fought me
I'm
every
Thierry
minute on it 'cause they
Roturo.
were too
This
expensive.
is Tom Douglas.
I'm sorry.
He's a very famous person.
Coffee, water,
Oh, that's fine.
water. Okay. And then we only have the one mic, so you'll have to
Really good.
share when you're going to answer. But listen to me. and listen to me. You hear the difference? So you have to get it right up tight when you answer. Get right up tight
I know.
to the microphone. Okay.
Exactly.
Pamela likes to step back
No, I get
here
it.
and talk to them.
Yeah, I get it. I saw that. I saw that.
Everything. This fine is
I know.
made in New York.
I saw that. Who's Goldie? You and you Abhijit?
Abhijit.
No. Where are you from in India?
I'm from Kolkata.
And you?
Mumbai.
Okay. I was in India once. It was incredible. But we're gonna go on the show.
No, we got time.
How's it going?
Good, good, very good.
Tough business.
Restaurant business, very tough.
I quit 2 years ago and I've never felt any better.
Don't tell them that at the beginning of their
Something to look
journey.
forward to.
I'm sure they
You guys
do.
are young. You got plenty to go.
And when I point to you, that it just means a reminder to get up to the mic. Okay. And you'll see Sean come in and he'll say like this, 2 minutes left, and then he'll go 1 minute left.
So we'll do two short segments, like so, with a break in between.
How's life? I have pulmonary fibrosis. I'm running out of oxygen. My lungs are getting attacked by my system. So eventually I need lung transplant. No, it's cool. It's cool. Does he have pulmonary fibrosis? No. He makes oxygen on demand. So, you know what? That is incredible.
We're happy to have him sitting here with us still.
I know. Yeah. Likewise, good to be seen.
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. Which is the
Goldie Singh.
Abhijit.
Oh, Abhijit. Oh, you're the chef?
Shakar?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why. I thought you were the chef.
Okay.
Got it. Sorry, he didn't say that on my sheet, so I was just guessing. I don't know why I thought you were the chef. I should have known he was the chef. Why would I know? So Abhijit is the chef. Abhijit Sarkar. Sarkar, yeah.
Okay, so the first part we're going to talk about you both and the
Beginning of
your journey, right? The second segment we'll do on the restaurant and the menu, some of the things that people should order, what makes them unique, and that sort of thing. But the first one we're just going to concentrate on you, and not as much on the restaurant, because we have 7.5 minutes is the first, and then 10 minutes for the second. Okay.
Actually, it's 10. Oh, yeah. All right.
All right, welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. We've got one more hour to put in the books here. We're excited about that. We're going to talk about Indian food, modern Indian food. We're going to talk some question from our listener up in Victoria.
Yes.
No, I haven't been to Victoria in 30 years.
I know we might need to go visit
Let's
Roberto.
go visit Roberto.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly.
Be good.
And then we're going to wrap up the hour with our Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs. But first, let's jump right in to the Mint Progressive, a new restaurant down on First Avenue, right here in downtown Seattle. I know a lot of people tell me they're not coming to Seattle anymore. Hello, get
Well,
over it.
I think people are coming back. There is more movement that I see more movement now than I've seen in 3 years. So
Yeah, just a reminder: the city council has resigned. Everyone always says to me when I'm out and about, "It's like your city council is crazy." I said, "I know," but they've all resigned, and except for what's her face from Fremont Collective or Fremont Brewery is doing a nice job there.
Sarah Nelson.
Sarah Nelson, yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyway, let's talk about the Mint Progressive. We have Abhijit Sakar is here and Goldie Singh. Abhijit is the chef of the Mint Progressive, and Goldie is the owner. I know that restaurant space as Heartwood Provisions. My friends opened that. They owned the Met Grill. They opened that years ago. And before that, it was McCormick and Schmick's restaurant. So
wow.
you are the third group that I know of in there, because McCormick's, I think, went in when that building was first built. Such a big space. Oh my God, you are very brave. Tell us about the both of you, if you would, and your journey and how you ended up here in downtown Seattle.
Sure. So
Because you already have one restaurant on Queen Anne, right?
we do.
Yeah.
We have Roti Cuisine of India in Lower Queen Anne. That's more of a traditional, classic Indian restaurant.
Mhm.
And with Mint, it's a new concept. It's progressive Indian cuisine, where we do a modern take on traditional Indian cuisine, incorporating local ingredients from the region and using modern techniques to present it in a new way. That's our take on progressive Indian. And I'm from Mumbai, and I've always been into, like, food, and I always thought I wanted to open a restaurant one day.
Mhm.
So I grew up in New York City, half in India, half in New York City, and always wanted to do business, something in food, and I got an opportunity to open or to acquire Roti Cuisine of India, which was there for a long time, and we revamped the menu, and did our take on traditional Indian cuisine, and then that kind of landed me into Mint Progressive, because I didn't want to do another Indian restaurant,
Right.
another one,
Another
just
one lost
same.
in the shuffle.
Yeah. So I wanted to elevate Indian cuisine, and I'm just doing my part and bringing that to Seattle.
I
You know
think
what,
I think it's something we see a lot with immigrants or with people from foreign country. Is the second generation is itching at their finger, going, "We need to update this. We need to make it for Americans, not for Indians. We need to make it for, and this is how this whole thing come." And you realize we have the best product right around us. We don't need to go and get product that's not existing or that's dried out or whatever. You have beautiful fresh product, and I think we see that in all the different culture. Then people start adapting to the region where they are, and that's a very normal phenomenon. I
You
think.
certainly did.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
Went from very classic French to very local and very, very just very local and seasonal.
One of the things I find fascinating about what you just said was that as a chef now for 45 years in Seattle, I always got asked by every interviewer, what's the next hot thing? What's going to be the new thing? I have been saying progressive Indian for 25 years. It just seemed like, I love the flavors, the natural flavors of the food, but it just seemed like it needed to be updated because, all the vegetables were cooked to death. And you see it. And I go to Indian restaurants around here, which are very much, I think what you're calling traditional Indian food, like House of India or Saffron Grill up at Northgate, or you name it, India Palace in Ballard. I like that kind of food, but I've been waiting for this little update, this freshness for so long.
yes, because we have the same food for almost 50 years now.
Mhm.
When we're doing the same food over and over again. Another place pops up, and it's just chicken tikka masala,
Right,
or
right.
butter chicken. And I didn't want to do
It's
that.
delicious, but it's
It's good. It's
But there is
it's-
plenty of it. You don't need to make more of it.
Yeah, there's so many, so
Yeah.
I don't need to do the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
I wanna innovate, and elevate it and bring something new. And that was kind of the thought behind Mint.
Mm-hmm.
One more question on that subject. Vikram has been a friend of mine up in Vancouver, BC for many years, and his restaurant, when I go, it's called
Vijay's.
Vijay's, yeah, Vijay, Vikram Vij. his wife did much of the cooking, but he's also just a consummate kind of host and front man, chef also. He was frustrated. And when they opened their restaurant down here over by Amazon, they were frustrated because they couldn't get Indians into the restaurant. They were trying something new, but the Indian population wouldn't support them in that way. How are you faring in that world where there's a certain expectation of maybe mama's cooking, of mama's prices, of all sorts of things, like a lot of immigrants deal with, right? That happened with Vietnamese cuisine. It happened with every cuisine.
French
French,
cuisine.
yeah, where people kind of step out.
Yes. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I heard about that restaurant. I wasn't in Seattle personally when that opened, but I think that was right around 2014 or 15 or something like that. But I think progressive Indian kind of popped up in 2016 in India, and then it just kind of branched out and then went all over. So from then to now, I think the perception has changed, and people are ready for something new. And I think that stepping stone, like that, kind of put us progressive Indian on the map. So we're not dealing much of pushback in terms of, there are people who appreciate, like, yeah, this is something new, this is where I would want to go out when I'm going out with my wife for my anniversary, or a birthday,
Right.
So the reception has been good so far.
Good.
And a great cocktail program to go with it, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we have a great cocktail program that incorporates some of our ingredients that we use in our cooking to pair it with the food.
Excellent.
Heartwood tried the whole cocktail. I mean, that was what that bar was
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on, a cocktail program. And I just don't know what happened there, other than the restaurant space is huge. Did you take the whole space?
Yeah, I took over the whole
Oh my
space.
goodness. That is what is that? Like a 250 seat restaurant?
It's more like 160.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
160, yeah.
Even 160. That's
And it has
big.
160.
2 kitchens and a prep kitchen.
Wow.
I looked at it. My friend owned it. So Jim Rowe.
Jim Rowe. Yeah.
I looked at it myself. He and I were thinking about something there, but it was too big for me.
Yeah.
Are you
It's-
using the wood fire still, or did you?
No, I got
you
rid of
got-
that.
Yeah, that was a beast.
Yeah, that thing was a beast, but no, I got rid of it. As soon as I got in there, I was like, take it out.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of thousand to just get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk more about the menu at the Mint Progressive. Your first and Madison. What is your? That's Cross Street. The intersection.
It's spring and
Spring.
first.
First and spring. We're going to continue with Abhijit Sakar. He's the chef at the Mint Progressive, and talk a little bit about the menu and maybe what some of the stars are on the menu and what people should try first and maybe in what order. When we come back on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. And I'm going to go right to you because you've been there, right?
Yeah.
And we can. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
And we're back. Hot Stove on Cairo. We're happy that you're hanging with us. We are in cahoots here with our friends Abhijit Sakar and Goldie Singh. They have a new restaurant down on First and Spring called the Mint Progressive. Pamela, you discovered this restaurant after you booked them as guest.
We had booked him, but then I decided to go check
you
it
had booked
out.
it? Yeah.
And I'm so happy to meet the chef because it was one of the finest meals I've had in Seattle in years.
Yeah.
It was,
Thank you.
it was spectacular. We started with the cauliflower. We had that incredible tuna with whatever that crunchy stuff was. My favorite.
Rice.
Yeah,
The pap rice.
brilliant.
Yes.
We had the lamb, the short rib. My favorite was the mushroom and couscous.
Okay.
And we had the seafood curry. And your naan is the best on the planet. So
Wow.
Thank you.
and the dining room
There's
is
non-parallel.
It was
That's
so
impressive because it doesn't
pretty.
sound very Indian.
it
Well,
was-
when you read the
but-
menu, you see couscous and you see
well, you
pasta.
see the way it's
Yeah.
spiced. And I was trying to tease the waiter because all those gorgeous sauces that you make come in a separate container. I'm like, yeah, you guys have got to do a lot of dishes tonight. Is it? But tell me about that tuna.
Okay. The tuna is basically we use pap rice into that for the crunchiness, and also we use one kind of mixture that is called Navaratan mixture. It is basically made out of chickpea flour.
Ah.
So that gives the crunchiness, and also like we use like kind of Indian pickle, mango kind of pickle oil, so that gives the tanginess to the tuna.
Mhm.
And we use also Japanese spice. It's called togarashi.
Love
It
togarashi.
gives like
That's
organic-
very progressive.
Yeah. I have a togarashi in my line over
Yeah,
there, the
yeah,
Tokyo rub. And then the cauliflower.
Cauliflower is like our like best.
It's a national
appetizer.
dish, right? Cauliflower in India.
Not national dish, but yeah, but India has like, if you go 100 mile, you'll get. If you go 100 mile, you'll get like different kind of flavor, different kind of food. So that dish from the south part of India, and we don't use cauliflower like that way. We use especially the chicken or paneer, but we are making with the cauliflower that dish, and we use sour cream, which generally don't use in India,
Mhm.
and also we use like uh, coconut chutney along with that one.
Oh wow,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So that gives the like basic Indian flavor and little bit of the sour cream, so that gives tanginess. So it balances that
Yeah,
taste. Yes.
the people at the table with me were not cauliflower eaters, and they were just gobbling it
Yes.
up.
Where is your
So
training
good.
from? Where do you come from?
I did training from the India like Culinary Institute of India. So 3 years I did culinary college. Then I moved to cruise line, Italy
Uh-huh.
cruise line for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
Then I back to India, and I work for like lot of state in India, and I visited lot of place in India. Then in 2016 we started like this concept, like progressive Indian concept in New Delhi.
Ah.
So that's restaurant was named as Egg Bar.
Mhm.
That was the first restaurant in India, like modern Indian cocktail with the modern Indian food.
That's
Then
great.
yeah, so that concept we bring over here in USA 2017 in. So from San Francisco, then we move around in the
Excellent.
place.
And
Wow.
you've been accepted. The new concept has been accepted
Yes.
where you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wherever.
definitely.
And if I had the menu in front of me, I'd read off a few things because it, I'm a, I have no basis, right? Terry, you've been to India. My daughter's been to India. I have never been, so I don't really know what real Indian food is, but I just find it fascinating that you've been able to transition such a
Yes.
traditional cuisine into something so upfront and progressive.
So basically, like in Indian food, if we're talking about Indian food, so it's a lot of spice,
Right.
and also some places there is like spiciness, also like chilies and all. But over here, people are not habituated with that kind of spiciness. So we bring down that one, and we use like local, like serrano or jalapeno, or we use paprika instead of like red chili powder in India. We use the paprika over here, so that everybody can
Yeah.
have that and they can feel the taste.
That's
But-
where progressive
yeah,
comes in.
But always the taste and flavor wise, we keep in the same like Indian. So
In the sphere of
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
that's the motto.
Tell me about curry. Curry to me is a little bit like the masala or the the
Yeah.
house.
Selanut.
Yeah, the house spice, right? It's not always the same.
No,
In
no.
America, I think we tend to think of curry as coming out of the same jar, whereas I think of Indian curries being more house made with
Regional.
certain-
Yes.
and individual
Yeah.
houses. So, what is your curry? How do you make your curry? What is
So
What do you like?
basically, like different between like over here or Europe cuisine or Indian cuisine. So we make everything. Like if you talk about the pork vindaloo, so generally the pork cook into the sauce,
Mhm.
and we make all together like pork, then potato, vegetable
Like
into
a
the
stew?
sauce,
Yeah.
not separately.
Right.
So all the curry from the India basically is sauce. Basically, is sauce.
Okay.
Is we call as a curry,
hmm
and it's cooked with like same meat or vegetable all together. Over here we cook same in the together, but we keep separate. Then for the presentation wise,
I see.
but when we cook into the gravy.
Okay.
That-
And
So
is there a-
curry basically is kind of sauce.
okay?
whatever.
So it's more like a curry gravy or
Yes,
yeah,
gravy.
yeah.
We call curry or gravy in India.
Oh, really?
Yep.
The
Delicious.
it's so fun. My wife is particularly fond of dosas.
Those are
Yeah.
And Dev Patel, who was our farm manager for many years and is now running around the country working in different restaurants in San Francisco at the moment. He never wanted to get boxed into the Indian corner with his cooking. You know what I mean? Sometimes
that's
when
true.
you have that ethnicity, people want to say, well, you're on staff meal today, you making curry. Or, so how do you burst out of that box that people want to put you in sometimes? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like how did you get comfortable enough to break out of the cuisine?
is for me it's like not that much difficulty, but when we take the curry and we make something different, we want to do something different.
Mhm.
So I introduce like local ingredients over here, and with that, what curry goes well with that one. Like if we talk about the Alepi seafood curry, so it's basically like we use from the fish, and but over here we use mussel, clam. So
Yeah. Shellfish, that's here.
it's balanced.
Yeah.
Yep. Even if you talk about the pomegranate glazed pork ribs,
Right.
usually we do the vindaloo sauce with a little bit tanginess, but over here we use like pomegranate glaze also,
Mhm.
so that gives a little bit of sweetness.
Sweetness, yeah.
So it's good.
Sweet and,
And also
sour. Everybody
strawberry
loves that.
chutneys on top,
Mm-hmm.
sweet and sour is very
It's a
goes
winning
with the pork.
situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
What ethnic food most influenced you out of the Indian environment? Because for me, I could tell you it's Vietnamese and French, probably the two ethnic foods that really influenced my cooking.
Uh, Basically, you can say European cuisine. Little
European,
bit, yeah,
yeah.
little bit of the European cuisine. Also, like Chinese cuisine, kind of. So it mixes
Little,
it.
little bit of alphabet soup there, yeah. Well, thank you so much. If you want to go to the Mint Collective, how should people find you? Or Mint Progressive. I keep saying collective.
They can go on mintprogressive.com.
Okay.
All our pages, Instagram, everything is Mint Progressive. They can come check out our Easter brunch that we're doing on Easter Day.
Oh, nice.
That's something special that
Very.
it's different from our regular menu. So, Pamela, if you want to come down,
Thank you.
yeah, Easter brunch.
She wears very beautiful hats on Easter.
I do. But the dining room, you did a beautiful job. It feels like a restaurant that you want to behave and look pretty and show off to your friends. So thank you for creating such a lovely environment.
Yeah, no, it's no, it was a challenge basically. It was a beautiful space existing, and I didn't want to have somebody who had been to Heartwood come in and be like, "Oh, this is Heartwood,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? That was my challenge
is
to
a
like
rough
transfer.
It's always a hot pot when you take someone else's restaurant.
Yeah, because people have been there,
Yeah.
so it's a challenge.
Yeah.
So I had to change that, but yeah, overall it turned out good.
All
Well,
right.
congratulations and all
It's
the best.
gorgeous.
Head on
thank
down
I
and
will
check
be
out
visiting.
the Mint Progressive down at First and Spring in downtown Seattle. Up next, Roberto in Victoria, a longtime listener, has a question for us on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
job. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a make me look pretty thing on your camera?
You always look pretty too. Sorry, I'm gonna.
That's not a camera.
There we go. Okay, ready? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's going to rock. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll be in.
We'll have our radio meeting there
There you go.
with the Shawns. Because they've got that big, beautiful bar. Yeah.
A Christmas party in
Our
May.
Christmas party.
In April.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was mostly Indian people. So I was like, whoa. Very nice.
I was trying to think of the name of the restaurant over there in Amazon World.
Fishes.
No, that's
Thank
Vancouver.
you.
Oh, no. Yeah, the other
Thank
one.
you.
No.
Something Nick. At Nick.
No,
At Nick.
began with SH. It's the name for son.
Shanik. Shanik.
Oh,
Shanik or
right.
something like that.
Yeah, Shannock.
Yeah. It was such a sweet spot.
But Tom, you're
Obviously,
right.
10 years too early.
A huge endeavor. It's a big
Everybody
restaurant.
doing good? Who's decided that they're going to compete on trivia?
So the
Oh, yeah. That's going to work out perfect.
is it your birthday? It is. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah. The more pictures, the better.
Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show in Cairo. We're here at the beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. As you can hear, our breakfast did not kill our audience. They are.
She's always something you hope for.
That's a one step forward for us. We haven't seen the people that were in the last shows.
They haven't come back.
They haven't. Well, that was pretty good breakfast, huh? A little Spanish tortilla, little ruby chard with the stems. How many of you all cook your ruby chard with the stems?
Stems are good.
Stems are super tasty.
Loving that.
Just got to cook them separately, then combine them. Roberto from Victoria, what's going on here, Pam? Is one of our many listeners.
Yes, he's an engaged listener. We hear from him. I think I sent you the email he sent after we were talking about vegan food. With it, he sent a little cartoon. I was like, I don't know if Tom really has enthusiasm for this subject. It was hilarious. So he listens.
I
And
don't mind vegan food. I just ate a date, for God's sake.
I know.
Doesn't get more vegan than that. I was thinking how good it would be with that little lamb that was running.
But he had a wonderful question. So we should just read it. Why don't you just read it right from his
You read
email?
it. Come on now.
All
You're the
right.
producer. I can't do your whole
I
job
come
for you.
across recipes with things like garlic powder or powdered onion and would like to know if powdered is essential to taste or how your cooks could substitute real and fresh garlic or onion. And then, of course, how does that apply to other powdered ingredients? When do you need? I'll tell you the one time you need to stay with powdered onion
You're going to tell
and
me?
garlic. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you make cheese.
Now, is this show the Tom and Terry show or is this Ask Pamela show?
It's when you make homemade Cheez-Its.
Oh,
You
who
need
does
to-
that? Homemade,
Homemade
cheese.
Cheez-Its.
Yeah, and they are.
And then you
Chef, do
need
you
the-
even know what a cheese it is?
What kind of cheese are you making? What kind of milk are you using?
Okay, he wants to know what kind of milk you're using for your
For your
making your
cheese.
cheese out of. He
You
doesn't
say
know
cheese?
about. He doesn't know about the it part. Cheez-Its. It's a cracker. It's a,
Oh, cheese it. Oh, I heard from here. I heard cheese. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird, but I'll go with that. Okay. Oh, cheese it.
She uses only fresh Chev in her Cheez-Its.
Oh, yeah, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird.
The recipe requires powdered garlic and onion.
Requires.
Requires,
But back
and you have to follow that.
You have to follow that.
Of
you,
course.
You couldn't have chunky
You-
onions in your cheese.
Do you want to start this answer? Or do you want me to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I would say it's a little bit like duck confit, any sort of preservative that you use in food, like canned tuna in oil or duck confit. You don't have to use that anymore.
Right.
You can make it fresh, make your own. But it is a flavor profile that if you're trying to make a Cheez-It, that you want to get to the original flavor profile at Kraft or Nabisco, whoever makes Cheez-Its, you're not going to get there if you try to substitute fresh garlic for this or fresh onions for that. Even if you're going to oven dry it and then powder it, you're not going to get to that same place. And you're going to get there. If you do get there, it's going to be 3 weeks later.
but you
And your
could,
craving
but,
for Cheez-Its will be long gone.
but you could follow suit to the Indian we just follow. You could call it progressive cheese it, and have actually a cheese it. You can eat it. using some fresh ingredient instead of dried
do you-
ingredient.
Is there ever a need for powdered garlic?
Yeah, of
or
course.
powdered.
No, yeah, there is.
When,
There is
when would
definitely-
when would you?
Like,
Well,
for example, my
it's-
nephews always had toast in the morning and they would shake powdered garlic on it before they went to school. It's the
Get out of here.
grossest thing I've ever seen.
Me too.
But they did it all the time, every day. To this day, they still sprinkle powdered garlic, even though he's a chef now and one's a restaurant manager. They still like that flavor of the powdered
What's-
garlic. So
On butter?
on buttered toast.
Wow.
So it's like garlic bread, essentially. But it's very different than, say, fresh garlic with fresh herbs and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that on it. So,
See,
it's-
that's one place
To
where you
answer his
can-
question, I would say, yeah, you could change it, but I probably wouldn't.
Right.
What I
And-
would do is make sure that your powdered garlic in your cabinet is not 15 years old.
Right. And
Right.
also, if you're doing some curing, for example, of, let's say, like we were talking about duck confit, let's say you want to do a duck leg with garlic, obviously fresh garlic is the first thing that comes to mind, but there are some dry rubs that you can make with powdered garlic that will have a different flavor. That's one place where you can use it. My recommendation is finish what you have in your cupboard and then try using fresh only. That would be my recommendation.
My recommendation would be, buy fresh. It's not that expensive. Buy fresh powdered garlic once a year, and then you don't have to worry about
Right.
old stuff. So
And what about herbs?
same thing. They just lose their pungency. So you have to buy them in the smallest container you can buy, even though it's more expensive per ounce. Buy the small one and just replace it more often.
Well, oregano is the one that comes to my mind. I don't like it fresh, or maybe I
It
just
just
have a
doesn't have the
bad
same pungency.
variety in my yard. Maybe it's just because that one's so bitter, and I love the dried Greek oregano
On the stem.
on the stem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just-
completely different profile. I mean, it's definitely different flavor, different profile.
Would you rather have oregano that's been grown near the White Cliffs of Santorini or the one that was grown in the San Jose Valley of California? So just
Or my muddy
or
yard.
your money.
Yeah.
Here's a funny story for you.
Is it related to the topic?
It isn't because the topic's
Okay.
over. The topic. Didn't we answer the question?
Yes.
So I'm over at the farm this last week, working on my projects over there. I go for my honey-do list, and we had steak one night. We had the roast lamb, which was my taste of the week, another night. And then I'm looking in the freezer. There's a single trout, because everything at the farm is in the freezer because we only get over there once a week, right? Anyway, there's a single trout, and there's some duck breast. So I thought, well, let's do the duck breast. I love a good duck breast. So I pull it out the day before. I never do that. I pull it out the day before so it thaws naturally. It's in the fridge now. It's ready to go for dinner. I start to cook it, and then you remember me talking about my mother and going through her freezer,
Yeah,
her
yeah.
chest freezer. She lived
Yeah.
by herself. She was
Yeah.
4'8" or whatever. She ended up being 60 pounds or 80 pounds, whatever she was. And we had a bet as siblings when we went through her freezer. What was the oldest thing we were going to
Yeah.
find after she died? I won the bet. It was pine nuts, 1994 or something like that.
Hmm.
Well, I'm cooking this duck, and it's like, this is so weird. And it looks like, are you sure this isn't chicken? I asked Jackie. Sure, because it looked a little blonde. So I'm cooking it, and it kind of just boils away into this nothingness, even though I'm trying to give it a sear. And so I said, I taste it's totally gross. So Jackie goes back and looks at the package. It was 10 years old.
Oh no!
And it was 2012 duck in my, how did this end up in our freezer with this beautiful spring lamb
Yeah.
and this really great Palouse country beef?
The phrase that
And
comes
I
out
have
of that is
10-year-old duck breast.
I'm
your,
gonna
your
empty my
freezer,
freezer
your
today.
freezer or your cupboard are not a museum. You're not charging
just
for people to come and visit.
I guess it just got lost in there. Even powdered garlic wouldn't have helped that duck. But we always gave my mother such a hard time for keeping ancient history in
There
her
was in
freezer,
your house.
in my own chest freezer.
And to go back to the spice cabinet, Tom, you've always had a great example on that, which is empty your jars, see how much you have left, mark your jar with a marker, empty them, use that for the next week, then go to Spice Market and then ask them for that much only. Don't fill up the jar. Don't buy a whole jar. Just buy what you need and then see how long that takes you to use. And then you're gonna go, oh wow, I didn't use that in a whole year. I actually didn't even use that. That means you don't use that product. So only wait till you need it to buy it. There is some example of cupboards that have, you perfectly know what I'm talking about when you see some jars in your cupboard. You haven't even touched it in 5 years. That stuff needs to go. It's really not good. It has no life left. It's like, get rid of it. And just remember that if you want to use it next time, just buy some.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Because the flavor will be there, contrary to what you have
So
now.
to put an exclamation point on the powdered garlic, yes, use it, and the powdered onion, yes, use it already made for you. Thank you, Roberto. Thanks for being a
Thank
good
you.
listener.
Yeah, thank you, Roberto.
When we come back, it's time for Food for Thought, tasty trivia brought to you by Rub with Love, spice rubs and sauces on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Okay, birthday boy. Seat of honor. Come on up.
And he's
No,
a
it's
jolly
your
good
birthday.
fellow.
It's your birthday. Okay.
Yes.
So good.
You know what I like in those muffins? It's real butter.
And lots of it.
Lots of it. Delicious.
All right, you saw my lesson on speaking into the microphone. Sean,
Really
can you
close.
adjust that for him, please?
Bring it up to you as opposed to you coming down to it.
Yeah, Sean will help out there. That's how you end up with a big title called technical director. Very nice work, TD.
Technically, he's the director.
There we go.
You know what spice rub you're going to get out of the gift shop yet?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Going back and forth. I think the Japanese one sounds pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Ben.
Ben.
Yes, that's fine. Thanks.
This is you right here, Ben. My son-in-law is named Benjamin,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, wow, that's the first time I hear you say his name.
Benjamin?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I
Oh.
thought it was
You
your
were
grandson.
thinking the
I thought you were saying
adorable
your grandson's name. Sorry.
I kept telling my mother-in-law that Loretta was dating Benjamin, and she finally pulled me over and whispered to me, says, "What ethnicity is Jamin?" And I had to explain to her that that's Benjamin in a very, very cool way.
I had to tell my mom once that we were going to Jimmy Buffett concert. And I kept talking about Jimmy Buffett, and she finally said, "What kind of food do they serve at
Yeah,
Jimmy
it's a
Buffett?"
buffet.
High buffet.
Last night I took
Yeah.
last night I
Lots
took
of
my
snacks.
grandson Hercules to play golf. Yeah, every time he sees me, we play golf. We play golf. So we took him out to my golf club, and I bought him a little bag for his second birthday. So he's got a bag of clubs on his back, and I've got my clubs on my back, and we're out there. And every member, people that listen to our show, good, solid American citizens, listen to our show. All my golf buddies, they all know him as Hercules, as it should be, because I paid for my daughter's schooling from kindergarten through law school, and I got nothing. I got no naming rights. I got nothing. So I named him myself.
Let it go,
And so he
let
has a
it
name
go,
on,
let it go.
He has a name on company property and then a name off property. But my point is, as we're walking through the golf club, everyone is saying hello to Hercules.
Oh.
And Loretta was just there biting her lip. And just all she could do is just keep it to herself.
Loretta has to listen to it. She's in the room right now, the proud mother of Rory.
Yeah, Rory is actually the name.
Rory.
She's got 2 buns in the oven right now.
Congratulations.
Wow.
2. Adonis, and what's the other one's name?
Oh my God.
Athena
Do
and
not,
Adonis.
do not start that.
Athena and Adonis.
You had your first run. You're not getting the second one.
All right, ready, set?
Yes, Ben is in the house.
We have a special victim unit right here, a little episode of SVU, Special Victim Unit. Isn't that a TV show, SVU?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Law-
the other one is Seattle
Law and
Public
Order.
Utilities.
Yeah. We have a special victim unit right here on the hot stove this week. I'm Tom Douglas.
I'm Terry Rotero, the chef in the hat.
It's time for our Food for Thought Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spices. They'll help you to balance and assist in preparing well-seasoned meals. Rub with Love is available locally at Bartell Drugs, Made in Washington stores, and grocery stores like Thriftway or Metropolitan Markets, Shoreline Central Market, Ballard Market. Maybe you're headed to the Palm Springs area where I just was, and I just bought at Jensen's my own Rub with Love
Oh.
Chinese 12 spice, just so you know.
I like when you pay full retail.
I know, I do too. And the amazing thing about being in Palm Springs, it's like Seattle. Everybody's
down
from
there.
Seattle.
Yeah.
So,
From Seattle.
So they all
Palm trees.
buy my products at Jensen's Fine Foods. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Let's
Do you want
play.
to tell people how to play the game?
Yes, I have 15 amazing questions today, 5 for each contestant. We're so happy to welcome birthday Ben.
Happy
who's
birthday,
gonna
Ben.
Be in the middle.
Ben gets to go to the gift shop afterwards, and pick three
He
free
gets to
Rub with
pick
Love
3
products.
rubs.
Yeah.
But we always start with the chef in the hat
I'm ready to
to
go.
get the first 5.
Here we go.
True or false?
False.
Chops-
You always say that. I'm like, I gotta pick one.
50-50 chance.
Exactly. No, go ahead.
Chopsticks were initially created for cooking, not as an eating utensil.
That is true.
Is absolutely true. What is considered the highest international culinary award?
Palme d'Or.
No, culinary is meilleur ouvrier de France in France.
In the world?
In the world, that would be.
Well, I wonder why we don't know it.
Bridget's got her
I
hand
can't
up.
figure it out.
Bridget, what are you gonna say?
Come help Terry.
This
What's
is
the
my
highest
line, she's my
culinary
line.
award?
Okay. Yeah, the Bocuse d'Or. Like the team that.
I was going for the Michelin stars.
That's okay. That's
there
why I
you go.
asked culinary, because it's not just culinary.
Oh.
Chef, you're a loser.
It's a restaurant and.
And
the
what was the
culinary.
one you were saying? The
Bocuse d'Or is the
Bocuse
actual
d'Or.
chefs
Top.
competition yearly in Lyon.
Before
France.
Padma Lakshmi, it was Paul Bocuse.
Okay, you get that one.
I would have definitely get the Michelin for top rating of restaurants.
What causes the green ring you sometimes get in hard-boiled eggs?
Oxidation.
I
Wanna go from
think,
that?
I think we can go with that. The
Like
green.
if you have, like for example, if you were to use a blade that was not stainless
Chef, I'm
steel.
just going to remind you 1 second that the yolk is inside the white.
I wasn't. Oh, aging. Old age.
The green ring around the yolk of the hard-cooked egg happens because the hydrogen in the egg white combines with the sulfur in the yolk. The cause is most often related to boiling the eggs too hard for too long. The green ring can also be caused by a high amount of iron in the cooking water.
That's exactly what I said.
True or false, the cellulose walls in mushrooms allow or make it almost impossible to screw up cooking them.
Make it almost impossible to screw it.
Yeah, to take
Actually-
the tenderness away.
Oh wait, that's different. Yes, on the tenderness, but no on the screwing up, because you can screw up a mushroom cooking easily by
On
not
the
having your pan hot enough. If you're trying to saute it and have all the water come out, the cellulose break down, and
Oh my
You know.
God.
He's talking like a real chef.
If you don't pick up
The
the pace,
spe-
these young ladies in
Uh,
our
the
audience are
the
going to
sp-
go to sleep on
The
us.
special polymer chitin in mushroom cell walls ensure a tender texture even at high temperatures. True or false? One of the most disturbing cooking facts. Celebratory pies served in the 16th century England contained live animals that were released when the pie was cut.
oh, that sounds so gross. And I'm going to say yes, true.
It is true. Often
A bird,
they
probably.
put live frogs, squirrels, and blackbirds in the pies.
Yeah.
Ooh, that came flying out. How'd you do?
4 out of 5.
Well, that was generous, chef.
Hey, I'm the one writing the points.
Yes, you are. For sure. Ben, I wouldn't take that. It's your birthday.
Go ahead,
I'd
Ben.
ask for a recount.
Beat me.
Ben, what method of this is multiple choice. is the healthiest way to cook food to preserve vegetables specifically to preserve nutrients? Frying, microwaving, or grilling? Vegetable. Microwave.
Microwave.
Yep. And what the pound cake used to have a literal pound of each ingredient. What are the ingredients that go into pound cakes?
Butter, sugar, flour,
Yes.
eggs.
Yay! Number
Wow,
two
man, that was impressive.
is
Close.
Thank you.
on cutting boards. Is plastic or wood considered more safe or equally hygienic? Plastic or wood?
Ben, say
in-
something like, it depends on which authority you're speaking to.
The health department's going to tell you plastic.
The
So-
reality of life tells you wood because it's been there for much longer and it's been proven. Then plastic after a long time does not work so well because the groove created in the
This
plastic.
is Ben's question, Chef.
Some people
I'm
claim
glad he
plastic cutting boards are safer because they lack porous material of wooden cutting boards. However, the science community's verdict is that both materials can be breeding grounds for bacteria without proper maintenance. So
It's a trick question.
the
Either
trick
one.
question, either one.
Goes to the contestant.
You got
It's
it.
Ben's birthday, for God's sake.
True or false? Stuffed camel is the largest item ever found on a menu.
Stuffed camel.
Mhm.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can come up with anything bigger.
Whole stuffed camel is listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest menu item in the world.
No blackbirds in that, right?
You nailed it. Soup has been around a long, long time. The oldest soup recognized is from 6000 BC. Was the recipe a stew of sparrows and hippopotamus, or venison and trout, or potatoes and turnips?
Potatoes and turnips.
It was sparrows and hippopotamus.
Yeah, I was. Oh my God.
Wow.
3 out of 5 for Ben. Happy
Nice.
birthday.
That was generous. Thank
Very nice.
Not quite as generous as he was to himself.
you.
The scorekeeper seems to always win.
Like Monopoly.
Tom, how much do you want?
Tom Douglas, true or false? Puffer fish is the most dangerous dish to prepare or eat.
Yes, true.
And because of this,
Remember Peter the Puffer we saw at the beach in Hawaii?
because of this, chefs need to secure a license before being cleared to serve this dish.
True.
The American Fat Salvage Committee urged housewives to donate excess fat from cooking to the Army in World War II. What did they use those excess fats for?
Well, in France, they would use them for confit.
Yeah. But in
These
wartime,
are American housewives,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. And we save
what
their
is it?
cooking fat.
They would use them for Dapper Dan hair gel.
They use these fat reserves to create explosives.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa.
Number 3, when cooking with alcohol, not all of the liquor burns off. Usually, what percentage is remaining?
I'll say 2%.
This
Less.
website said 80, but I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
80.
Yeah.
No way.
80, no way. So we're going with Tom, too.
Yeah.
True or false? Improper ventilation of cooking fumes causes
IPF.
3% of worldwide deaths.
Yes, true.
It is true. And finally, what does a recipe need to earn copyright protection?
Well, a recipe. Is this a trick question?
Sorta.
I know what it needs. It needs a lawyer.
I'll just say it has to be published.
Copyright law does not protect recipes that are just ingredients. However, the delivery, which includes instructions, descriptions, illustration, is protected by copyright.
There you go. So I
There
win.
you go. Who's
Beautiful.
our winner today, Chef?
Well, actually, Tom and I are tied at 4.
Oh,
Ben is at 3.
Ben, you are
Ben-
Do I get a
wonderful
birthday
to-
point?
Well, the
You-
good news
you get a
about Ben
birthday
is
point,
it's-
so we're all
it's
tied.
his birthday, and he gets to go shop for 3 rubs for free in our gift shop here at the Rub of Love Studio.
Yes.
If you want to be part of the show like the Mighty Ben, you can join us on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket, you cheapskate, to join us here at the studio at hotstove.com. You get breakfast and a hot cup of coffee with that ticket. The show is produced by Pamela Hinckley, technical producer Sean McFadden, and our amazing editor, Sean Don't Call Me Del Torre, at the studio. Remember, if you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening and have a great weekend.
All right. Don't go anywhere yet. We have to be quiet. Sheffy, thank you. Hi, I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Roturo, the chef in the hat.
She didn't listen to me, did she? She continued on. Bridget. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Roturo, the chef in the hat.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society show, we talk about the new Mint Progressive at First and Spring in Seattle. Enjoying a good date. You'll have to listen to find out. Tuna to the rescue and popping green sauces.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, everyone,
Go
for coming.
Gonzaga and the NCAA tournament tonight, right?
Say what?
This is traditional time for Gonzaga to lose tonight.